pay close attention to your addictions. So say, for example, if you know that you don't necessarily want to do this thing, but it pulls you, it draws you, it calls your name, like, and you almost feel like you don't have any control as to whether or not to do it, that's an addiction. That is an addiction. So pay attention to it. Pay attention to what these addictions are. It's almost like, I don't want to do this, but I really need to do it. Like, I really want to do it. Like, if I don't do it, I'm not going to be okay. It's a drawing, it's a pulling. What is pulling you? And when does the pulling take place? So this is less about the type of addictions. Like, this is less about what the actual addiction is, but it's more about paying attention as to when these things take place and how these things take place. If you feel like you use this thing to escape, you use this thing to just step away from reality for a minute, whether it's for the night, whether it's for the week, whenever this feeling comes, you need to be aware. It's all about awareness. You need to be aware that, okay, this thing is drawing me in. It's happening right now. Like, that's how you catch it early on. So I give this example all the time on my channel, where I share about how I used to smoke weed, and there were times where I felt like I couldn't go on without it. I couldn't go the day without it. So for me, it was that pulling, it was that drawing, it was that, oh my gosh, like, I need to do this, I have to do this. So it wasn't like, yeah, let me bill a split so I can just enjoy and have a good time. It was like, oh my gosh, like I shouldn't be laughing, but that's kind of like what it was. It was like, oh my gosh, like, I have to have this, like, I need to have this, by force, by fire, by might. So it's about catching it. So say, for example, when I did stop smoking, there were times where I did feel that pulling. I did feel that sort of like, you know, have a smoke, have a, you know. So it's you catching it early on. But if you don't know what's pulling you in the first place, if you don't know what your addictions are in the first place, how are you going to know what's an addiction and what's not an addiction for you, to you? What somebody else is addicted to is not what you might be addicted to. You know, there was a time where my relationship with food was not the best. That was an addiction. So there are various addictions, like things that you might not even consider as an addiction is an addiction and can be an addiction. So it's about you sort of like looking and saying, what pulls me, what draws me, things that I don't necessarily want to do, like things that I don't necessarily want to indulge in, I end up doing because it pulls me in. It's like, I can't live without it. Like, if I don't do it, I'm not going to be all right. Write it down. Like, what are the things that you feel like, I can't live without this, I have to do this? Like, you feel off, almost feel like you need it to stay alive, to be alive. Like, without it you feel dull. Without it you feel like, oh, life is, oh my god. Without it you feel like life is grey. Like, you need it to give you life. You need it to give you resuscitation. Is that what they say? Resuscitate? I don't know. You need it to revive you. Like, what do you feel like revives you? This is something that you justify a lot. Like, well, you know, if I don't do it, then I'm not going to be all right. So I just need to have just one, you know. And then you have one and it's like, okay, maybe just another one. And it's like, okay, like, there's, you know, you're negotiating a lot. You're feeling the need to justify, you know, the need to explain as to why you're doing it. Like, you feel guilty. Like, there's a sense of like guilt within, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, I don't know if I should be doing this, and oh my gosh. And it's like, sometimes it can feel like a dirty little secret, or it might not necessarily be a secret. It might be something that others know, but you've not necessarily admitted to yourself. The first step is you admitting to self, you admitting and saying, my name is so and so and I am addicted to this. Like, you need to admit to yourself. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and say that, you know, you're addicted to whatever it is you're addicted to. You have to be honest with yourself, because it really starts with awareness is key. It starts with awareness. When you know, when you sit down and you say to yourself, actually, I'm addicted to this. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know. And sometimes you can be addicted to something and you don't know. That's the whole point of this video. It's about you paying attention to the things that draw you in, the things that you feel like you can't live without it. It brings you life. The things that you feel like you have to justify the reason as to why you need to have it. You feel guilty. You feel like you shouldn't be doing it, but you do it anyway because you feel without it you cannot live. That's an addiction. And also, not every addiction is bad or can look bad. So say, for example, your phone can be an addiction, like you constantly scrolling, you mindlessly scrolling. That's an addiction. That is an addiction. Validation can be a form of addiction. Like when people, like, you even start to fish for compliments. Like when people give you compliments, you're just like, it's almost like they've changed your whole day. It's like you get this high when people compliment you on how good you look and all of that. That's also an addiction. So addiction is not just drugs. Addiction is not just an act. An addiction can be something that you get from somebody else. Something, if somebody says something that might make you feel like, oh my gosh, this is like, oh yeah. You can even be addicted to overthinking. Like you can literally be addicted to overthinking. Like you think too much. And then you make stories in your head, things that are not there, things that, you know, haven't even happened, haven't taken place. You're there just wandering away. So it's about having independence, in the sense where if you can't live without something, then you become dependent. You know, you depend on this thing. Like for me, it was like I had to have a spliff before bed. If I didn't have a spliff before bed, I felt like I couldn't sleep. I felt like my evening wasn't gonna go well. I just felt like, oh my gosh, like I just need to smoke. Even when I used to call the dealer and be like, yo, where you at? He used to be like, oh, I'm not even about, you know. Oh, I felt like my whole world came tumbling down. Like, oh my days. Like, I felt like, oh my gosh, like this person is not around. That means I can't get what I need to get. Oh my days. And the thing is that when you get to that place, it's dark. It's dark. When you get to that place, it's dark. So you have to bring yourself out. You have to get yourself out of that place, because that place can be such a dark place. Because if something can control you, your thoughts, for example, your phone, for example, alcohol, drugs, sex, whatever, if something else outside of yourself can control you, or even within yourself, because your thoughts are within yourself, you need to be in control. It's about gaining control and about gaining independence. It's about you saying, when those thoughts are racing and you're just like, you're just there in your thoughts, and you need to cut that and say, let me tap into reality. Let me be in the real world. So pay attention to your addictions. Like how does your addiction show up? How does it show up? How does it speak to you? How does it draw you in? How does it communicate with you? How does it make you feel? How does it affect your life? It's about you being aware. So become aware. Even if you have to say, like I said, write it down. Sometimes sometimes it's not even about naming the addiction, because sometimes naming the addiction can be so big of an issue. Even if you're not gonna mention the addiction just yet, write down how this addiction affects you, affects your life, affects your loved ones. And then you can work your way around to admitting to yourself that, okay, this is the addiction. Because sometimes naming the addiction is the hardest part. So gain awareness. What is it that is trying to control your life? Because you need to regain control. I'm your personal development coach, C-Positivista. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.